The following is a production of Shark Flight Media.
Now entering the nexus of geekery and guy world in 3, 2, 1, mark.
Do you know what the secret of life is? One thing. Just one thing.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
This is the Dudes in Hyperspace podcast.
Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Dudes in Hyperspace podcast, LibertyCon edition, baby. Yes! Going to be talking some LC34 tonight on the show with our special guest. Also going to be joined shortly by my usual partners in crime, Rob Howe, Kevin Steverson. Before we do that, though, I want to give our usual shout-outs to sponsors and such and pay them bills. That starts with our presenting sponsor, the Chris Kennedy Publishing. Doesn't matter what you're into, folks. Military, sci-fi, space opera, paranormal, romance, nonfiction stuff with the craft, urban fantasy, high fantasy. It's all there at chriskennedypublishing.com. Go there, read about their books, their authors, their series, sign up for their newsletter while you're there. Get yourself a free ebook sent straight to your email and enjoy. Why? Because CKP is message-free sci-fi with a slice of fantasy. Website again, chriskennedypublishing.com. Also want to say thanks to the folks who sponsor our Podmail segment coming up later on in the show. That would be the International Association of Science Fiction and Fantasy Authors. Got some news on them coming up later on, so be sure you stick around for that. Again, that's in our Podmail segment. So, boys, how are we doing this evening? Go ahead and bring in the guys. Rob and Kev, what's going on?
Hey, doing good. Our partner in crime is really doing well. He's getting married this weekend, so I'm like, come on, Rob, talk to us.
I was going to say, I'm doing really well. I better be doing really well.
So for those who haven't been keeping score at home, Rob Howe will unfortunately not be with us at LibertyCon this weekend in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because he is getting married. So one more time, brother, congratulations on that. That is some kind of awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We are, by the way, live streaming it through CKP's YouTube channel. So if you want to see me in weird, funny clothes, answering to the name that sometimes fits me better, my SCA name, because that's where we're having it at an SCA event, pop on at 7:30 Central or so, and you can see our festivities, not the revelry. We're just showing the ceremony, but we are not.
So is that going to be Friday or Saturday?
That is Saturday the 18th. Saturday.
Right,
so
7:30 p.m. Central.
And you want to, if you're at LibertyCon and you want to take a bit of a break, pop it up while you're watching a panel.
Awesome, man. That is
no, don't do that. But I'm excited. It's we've been together for a long time now. almost 8 years now. And shockingly, she hasn't killed me yet. And I kind of have to, if she's, I've given her enough reason for her to kill me over this time. There's no doubt about that. But no, we're quite happy together. We have a lot of fun together. So I'm really excited about it.
Awesome, man. Well, obviously, we would love to be there with you this weekend, but please, please, please spill some on the bar for us and know that we will be there with you in spirit, my man.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. All right, let's say we get to some news.
And now the news.
Alrighty, so as teased by the little show graphic on your mobile device there, we're talking LibertyCon as probably the headline in our news for this week's news segment. That is going to be beginning this Friday in Chattanooga, Tennessee, running Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For those who follow our books, we're going to be there in force, man, between the 4HU, the CKP, Year Ahead, Salvage Side of Universe. We've got stuff galore, and we will be in the crowd. We'll also be hanging out around the Chris Kennedy Publishing table in the vendor's room. So if you're looking to get autographs, rap with us about our stories, want to talk about the podcast, come on by, shake hands, kiss babies, all that good stuff. Buy a book. We'd love to see you. But Rob, I'll go ahead and start with you, man. Obviously, you're not going to be at LibertyCon, but you got a lot of stuff going on, man, whether it's with your own work or whether it's the stuff that you're doing as the head honcho over at New Mythology Press. Talk to me about the latest and greatest, man. Floor's yours.
Well, wait to the halftime for the latest and greatest, because we're going to be talking about Lorelle of the Dark there. Today we wrapped up a bunch of the edits on the next one, which is Forgotten King by Mark Stallings. That'll be his first novel in this universe, and it comes out I believe July 12th. It's the second Tuesday of every month is what we shoot at. So there's that. I've got some projects. I've got actually 2 Eldros Legacy novels that I'm kind of working on. One that is a direct sequel to The Door in the Winter, and the other just said, I really want to write this. And apparently, I mean, that's what my brain said. It just said, okay. And I've had about 10,000, 15,000 words come out on that without really thinking about it because it's just ready to go. It's always nice when that happens. It's a little overdue. It's one of my murder mysteries. So I've got a couple books working. I've got the wedding. We've got events later on in the year. One of my big events, actually, the wedding itself will be at a big SCA event. I'll be selling all next week. So I'm really excited to get back to selling and doing stuff at SCA events. It's a great way for me to make a little money, talk to my friends, have a good time. So it's kind of a neat workcation kind of thing. I really enjoy it. So that's my thing.
Awesome. Kev, how about you, man? What's happening in Steverson land?
Well, I'm wrapping up a novella. Took me longer than I thought it was to write it. It's, after my heart issues, some of the medications, they had to get these things straight. Swelling issues. I can't sit at my desk as long as I used to. I used to be able to sit all night, and I got to stop and put my feet up. And, the wife is eyeballing me. She bought me the fancy new Fitbit so she can look at her Run Go Tell app on her phone and see what my heart's doing. So, she's
she
coming
loves
in
you,
here.
man. It's all in love.
You need to stop writing and put your feet up. Right. So, but anyhow, it's part of the Fivefold universe. It's been announced. I'm in this with Bill Webb and a couple other Kevins you might recognize, Kevin J. Anderson, Kevin McLaughlin. So I'm pretty excited about that set of novellas, and I'll have one in that. So I'm about to wrap that up before the con. And then next is the third fantasy book that I'm going to finish up there, and then into a Salvage book. So
awesome, man. Pro tip: the standing desks, I stand by them. Pun intended. This is the one I'm standing at right now to record this. Is the second one I've owned. And I honestly don't know if I'll go back to not having one of these. It really is nice just to hit the little button and it rises up, and I've got my monitor in front of me. I got keyboard, I got mic, I got laptop, I got everything I need. And it's, I want to say it's about a 65-inch topper. So lots of good counter space, even if you do have like a 32-inch monitor, like is what I'm running. But I want to say I paid, I think it was $350 for this one on Amazon. Fairly easy to assemble, and away you go. But I highly recommend those, dude. Go get you one of those. It'll pay off in droves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the sitting or the standing per se. I mean, I got to put my feet up because they swell, and the whole blood clot issue and all those kind of things. You got to,
Gotcha.
Things change until they get the medicine exactly right. So, I got the fancy, cool-looking socks that go all the way to my knees and feel like a snake's suffocating me. But anyhow.
You look like you played for the Boston Celtics in 1985. Right.
Hey, you know what I mean?
I do.
I was like, I can't wear these to the store. I need to go to the store. But then I look down at these long black socks, and I'm like, I'm in shorts, a black T-shirt, and these socks. Yeah, they think I play on a local softball team. Away I go.
So, man, you got to get the white ones with the green stripes at the top. That would be absolutely epic.
If I got some, you know what? I could do that.
Oh yeah, do the NBA socks? That'd be spectacular, dude. You seriously turn it into a con outfit somehow, man. Like write a character into a book and then wear the socks to a con. Man, we're just binging ideas here.
That'd be great.
This is beautiful. So anyway, in my neck of the woods, life is rolling along well. Finally able to get on some edits on Last Argonaut. I'm definitely deep into that, which is nice. As we've talked about before, unfortunately, my May pretty well just got kiboshed between COVID and family stuff and house repair stuff. And yeah, it's been a crazy 4 to 6 weeks, but all that's behind us and we're back on the train and rocking and rolling. Got the first few chapters of that in the can. And then once we're done with this round, then it goes off to Brother Steverson for review. And then it will go to the Factory Boss for review. And then it goes out to you guys for review. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out, probably later this fall by the time it goes through edit and release. So stick around for that. In other news that's happening around here, I want to say thanks to the folks in Tallahassee for hosting Nick Steverson and I at an InfinityCon last weekend. We had a blast, absolutely blast. This InfinityCon in Tallahassee is another one of the smaller variety cons, but they are small, but they are mighty. There was something there for everyone, whether it was authors and books, or whether it was a Smash Brothers tournament, or whether it was Dadpool, which was a dude dressed up like Deadpool with a old man's mustache reading children's stories to kids. Just fun stuff abounded everywhere. Got to take a picture with the Impala from Supernatural, which you guys saw that on social media, and just really, really had a fun time. So thanks to David and all of the crew who run that con. We will most definitely be back next year, and looking forward to that. So InfinityCon in Tallahassee, folks, if you're anywhere near the Florida Panhandle, we would certainly recommend that you check that one out. Well, in case you've been living under a rock lately, folks, there's this little thing coming up in Chattanooga, Tennessee this weekend that we like to call LibertyCon. And if you are on board with the military science fiction world, which, as we know, lots of people from CKP land and the 4HU folks really are, then this is definitely a con for you. It's one that a lot of us circle on our calendars every year, really look forward to because of, one, all of the friends and colleagues we get to hang out with there that maybe we don't get to see at other cons, but also because they just do a really good job running this con. There's something for everybody, for fans. There's something for authors. It's a great weekend for everybody, and in a really cool part of Tennessee there in Chattanooga. So we figured help us kind of preview this year's LibertyCon. Who better than to bring on board as our special guest tonight than the master of ceremonies and the factory boss himself, Mr. Chris Kennedy. Welcome back to the dudes, man. How we doing?
Hey, this dude is doing great. I hope the rest of you are the same. Thanks for having me.
No, dude, come on, man. It's always a pleasure. Plus, your name is kind of on our presenting sponsorship, so you're kind of free to do this from time to time with us if you want to hang out.
Oh, absolutely.
But, man, I was really struck. I smiled very, very big when I read the headline that Chris Kennedy was going to MC LibertyCon. In part because, man, you and I go way back. Like, we go back to the days when this was HonorCon and we were both indies kind of hanging out, pubbing our books and
pubbing our book. I mean, we had like one or two books and, I've known you since just about the very beginning, I think.
Yeah. And so fast forward to good, I guess this would be about 7-8 years now. And those folks are asking you to come MC their event. As touched on just a second ago, LibertyCon is a big deal, man. So, right off the top, what was your reaction when you got that email from the programming folks to say, we want you to do this?
I was like, oh my God, yes. And then I wrote, it was an email that I got. No. She called me first and so I had to try and mute that somewhat, but I know that my enthusiasm for that came out. And then it was oh my God, MC for LibertyCon? Me? What? Huh? How am I going to do? What? And then all of the tremors set in and, but it's, I mean, how could you say no to that? What a great opportunity to be part of, one of my top 2 cons that I go to every year.
Yeah, I can imagine that the adrenaline dump after you got that call was probably pretty crazy. You gotta save face when you're on the call, but then when it's done, all bets are off.
Yeah. And then I was like, as soon as I hung up, it's like, oh my God, can I tell anybody? I want to tell anybody. When is this announcement going to be made? And they're like, oh, well, just hold on. We're going to make the announcement. We've got, a couple things. I'm like, but I want to tell the world. I want to tell the world. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll wait. And then something funny happened. COVID.
Oh.
And it got canceled. And then it got canceled and pushed
You knew
back.
about this like 2.5 years ago.
I have known about this for 3 years haven't been able to talk about it.
Holy smokes, man. That was going to be my next question is how long did you have to sit on this? Oh.
The length of COVID.
Holy,
because they canceled one and they pushed everything back, and then they had a virtual, and then they had another virtual. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is. This is killing me, man. I want to tell the world.
Okay, so I think what we can now glean from this interview is that, folks, if you need somebody to keep a secret, Chris Kennedy is like the Fort Knox. So go to him. God, 3 years, that is insane.
I wanted to. I'm just glad to be able to talk about it now.
Well, okay. Well, while we're able to open up that can of worms, let's discuss what MCCK looks like. This is for people who attend LibertyCon, man. The MCs don't play around. You had John Hartness a couple of years ago when I was there. Gray Reinhardt has done it a number of times. These are all very colorful personalities, and whether they charm the crowd.
I'm just glad I didn't have to follow Chuck Gannon. I mean, his was probably the best ever. And if I'd have had to follow him, gosh, at least, with COVID, there's been 4 years between us, so we're all good.
There you go. Okay, well, what can we look forward to then at opening ceremonies with MCCK? Can we get a little advanced morsel here?
I will try to follow the 3 rules that I learned in the Navy. Be fast, be funny, be gone. So I probably won't talk a whole lot at the beginning, but I will try and do the job that I've been hired for and welcome everybody. The one thing that I get to do that nobody has ever done before is I'm the first person to get to read all of the author names now that LibertyCon has expanded.
Wow.
So you thought that the people before me had a big job reading all the author and artist and editor names that were in attendance. I now have an even bigger job. So I'll be warming up the vocal cords and trying to make sure I take drink of water. And Sheila's already said you are not to go out the night before. Things like that because it's going to be
challenge accepted.
Yeah. Okay, don't go out at LibertyCon. Well, not sure how well that'll work, but we'll.
Yeah, pro tip: water is definitely your friend for something like that. You get too far into the sodas, and you just get this giant. It's inevitable. You're gonna get the belch right in the middle of your spiel. Yep, there it is. Anheuser-Busch couldn't do it better in an ad.
Yeah. So, absolutely. Well, but I'm looking forward to doing it. Hopefully, I will have a little humor and will be in keeping with the finest traditions of LibertyCon.
Okay, I would expect nothing less from you, sir. Well, let's go ahead and delve into the event itself, man. LibertyCon is always loaded with people, always loaded with authors, always loaded with celebrities and personalities, whether it's the Kevin J. Andersons of the world, or the Larry Correas, the Ringos of the world. They're all there, all the way down to, little fish in the sea, like yours truly. Everybody comes out and is a part of this. That makes for great events. That makes for great panels. That makes for great discussions. So, when you look down the programming schedule for LibertyCon 34, what are you seeing there that really kind of raises your eyebrow and is something that you're going to circle and say, yeah, I definitely want to stick my head in on that. And by the way, I'd be remiss, folks, if I didn't add that CKP is extremely well represented at LibertyCon this year. From the 4HU to the Salvage Title Universe to the CKP, the Year Ahead panels, we're there in force. So if you're looking for us, check your regular schedule there and you'll find us.
Well, and I think that, to answer your question and to play off of what you just said, the Year Ahead for CKP is at 4:00 right before opening ceremonies. So I'm going to get an hour of talking there. And honestly, that's one of the ones I'm most looking forward to. So it happens even before opening ceremonies, because we've been without LibertyCon for a long, long time. And we've only had, 1 or 2 here in the last year. This is a chance to show what all of the great folks at CKP are doing for the next 6-8 months, and get out some of the new titles, the new projects, and I'll have some new art. So I'm super looking forward to that, and getting to talk about what all the great things, the different CKP authors are doing. I was sitting there working on the presentation today going, man, I love this one. Oh no, I love this one more. No, I love this. trying to do the dad thing where you love everything equally.
Right.
But even though you do, there's still a couple that are favorites, and
Absolutely.
but aside from that, it's there's anybody that you want to talk to in sci-fi is probably going to be there. And the neat thing about LibertyCon is that it's such a relaxed atmosphere, and everybody's happy to be there, and everybody, you can walk up to anybody and ask them a question, and they'll answer without looking at you like, who are you to ask me such a thing? It's very laid back, and it's all because LibertyCon isn't just a con, but it's more a family. And you'll probably hear me talk about family a bunch when I'm up on stage, because, the very first time I went to LibertyCon, which was, golly, I don't know, 7 years ago, maybe. Somebody told me, this is, you're born into a family, but this is the family you'd choose if you could. And I really think that is what makes LibertyCon stand out from all the other cons, because it's a family, and yeah, okay, there may be one or two of those cousins or brothers that are a little weird, or may not be your favorite person in the world, but everybody that is your favorite person is pretty much there.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty well just jumped right into my next question for you, what is it that makes LibertyCon so special? And, I mean, just based off of my one experience there, this will be my second year doing this one. I want to riff off exactly what you just said, which is the family atmosphere at that con is really unbelievable. Number one, it's really well organized, and that's not something you can say about most cons, a lot of cons anyway. But another thing I think that really makes that con special is, like you said, just how relaxed it is. You can go to a lot of cons and find, the Kevin J. Andersons of the world and the John Ringos of the world and the Larry Correas of the world. You don't always get to meet them. You don't always get to interact with them. You're certainly not at Dragon Con, not unless you're at the right place or the right time. It's a zoo. LibertyCon, because it's smaller, because it's a bit more confined and it's a bit more relaxed, you have those opportunities to get those experiences with that level of writer stardom, if you will. And, couple that with all of the fun workshops like they have, like William Joseph Roberts, we know him as Hillbilly, is going to be running a workshop on mead and fermentation. And there's going to be stuff on crafting. There's games galore. Like, there's just something for everybody at this con. And if you can't show up and have fun, and then you're the weird person at the party, man, because everybody else is doing just fine. But
and I think one thing in addition to that is that everybody pretty much checks their egos at the door.
Yep.
Because there are so many, big name authors that, okay, you're so and so, but there's so and so, and there's so and so, and there's so and so. So you don't really get, sometimes at cons the guests of honors posture a little, but that's not what happens at LibertyCon at all. And I'm very happy to have Kevin J. Anderson there as the literary guest. I'm sad that Taylor Anderson couldn't make it, because he personifies, checking the ego at the door.
Yep.
And I was really looking forward to hanging out with him for a little bit. I got to talk with him at I think the last HonorCon, before HonorCon stopped. And that was truly one of my favorite experiences at a con, because I was pretty much nobody still at that point. Not that I'm anybody now, but at that point, I wasn't really anybody, and he just treated me like a normal person, and answered questions, and we talked about a variety of different things, and he is a super good dude. I've published him a couple times since.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Taylor Anderson. He actually blurbed my book, Colonies Lost. And off of the same experience that you're talking about at HonorCon, we sat around and talked about cowboy hats, because cowboy hats.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Just a super down-to-earth guy, fantastic writer, very humble, and just a great guy to sit back and have a Coke and a Philly cheesesteak with. But yeah, we stayed in touch through Colonies, and I too was very much looking forward to catching up with him at this con, because it would have been the first time I've seen him in a while. But rain check on that one, Taylor, if you're listening, man. We definitely look forward to hooking up with you at some point.
Absolutely.
But I did want to shift gears, because you are certainly not a nobody anymore. You have gone on to be rather prolific, as we say, in both the authorly and publisherly, not really a word, but I'm going to use it anyway, publisherly worlds. So let's jump into that. We obviously cover a lot of what's happening at Chris Kennedy Publishing every episode on this during our halftime segment. So let's start this by talking about your author stuff. You got a lot of irons in the fires right now, from sci-fi to fantasy to nonfiction stuff that the name Chris Kennedy is on. So let's go ahead and start there. What are the projects that you are currently have in the works right now, and where are those, and what's the status on those?
The ones that have my name on the cover, or CKP on the cover?
No,
okay.
The ones that have your name on the cover.
Okay. Well, Uplink Squadron just released last week. That was with Jeff Chaney, J.N. Chaney. We actually did the first 3 in that series. So they're going to be coming out, you got the one this month, you got one next month, and then one the month after that. Then I will be writing 2 Four Horsemen books with Marisa Wolf, which are Lion's Pride, which takes a look at the infamous lion, and then World Enders, which is the first book in the Phoenix Initiative, which is the next series that is going to follow the Guild Wars. And then I'll be rolling back to 4 and 5 of Uplink Squadron.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I had a chance to rap with Kevin Eikenberry a little bit at PensaCon earlier on this year about kind of what's in store for Phoenix Initiative. And there's some really exciting stuff happening there, folks. So fans of the 4HU, buckle up, man. This train ain't slowing down anytime soon. But let's talk about the other stuff happening around CKP. This is a press that really started out hot and heavy with the Four Horsemen universe. That was what you made your name off of. But since then you've grown into a lot of stuff. Salvage Title Universe being one of the biggies over there in Theogony Books. Abner Fortis ISMC is a series that we talk a lot about on this show. PAPI's done a great job putting out a whole bunch of stuff there that people really seem to be on board. What's the hot news, man? What's the big thing in your mind that's coming down the pike at CKP that people need to know about now and moving forward?
Well, the neat thing that we have going on right now is we have 3 new authors that are stepping in here over the next month. James Tarr doing Bestiary and the Echoes of Pangea series, which is pretty much Tom Clancy goes to Jurassic Park. You've probably seen the cover with the Allosaurus on it and the guy with the AK-47 or whatever he has, and we're going to need a bigger gun. That's a great series. I read the first book and I was like, yep, need more. We've got William S. Frisbee bringing the Last Marines series, which is Gods of War. The cover is out for that, and then Darkness Rising. All 3 of these series that I'm going to mention are going to be kind of quick launches, where there'll be one book about 5 or 6 weeks, and then the second, and then the third. And in some case, Bill Frisbee's got, I think, 6 books lined up. So that one's got some legs and is going to run.
Cool.
And then the other book is the other series is Mike Wyatt Jr., who has the Anesian Convergence. I can't pronounce that very well.
I butchered it too, buddy. Mike, if you're listening, we still love you, man.
Which started with Last Bid for a Dying Earth and is about to have Fallen Hunter come out in a couple weeks. So those 3 series I think are going to do great. In addition, Paul Pyatt's got, Uncivil War coming in a few weeks, which will keep Abner Fortis going, and he's writing like a madman to get the next one after that in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see another maybe even 3 this year, between Uncivil War and then 2 more. Same thing with John Sears, in his Lunar Free State series. He's cranking those out. And we've got the next one When is the next one coming? Just here, actually next week. It's Gathering Storm. So both of those are going to continue hot and heavy. Those also are playing really well in Germany. Something that Kevin Steverson's had a big part in, and so give him a plug here since he's just kind of sitting there being quiet. But they're both doing great there, and as are pretty much everything that we're sending over to Germany.
Awesome. Well, fellas, that's pretty well the end of my questions that I had for the man. Rob, I'll let you go first, man. Anything I missed before we let the factory boss go back about his way?
I just have one question. What song are you going to sing for Brandy? Gray started the tradition. You got to sing her song.
Oh, God, I forgot all about that.
Sing us the song, the piano man. Sing us the song.
Should I do the Officer and a Gentleman?
Oh, that would be righteous.
You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips.
There you go. I actually got thrown out of a bar for doing that one time.
Yeah,
that's another story for another day.
I think I'm going to need some backup singers, though.
I think if you start that, you'll have several hundred backup singers.
Yes, I would wager that is correct.
I don't know. Maybe the CKP authors will come join me and we'll do that en masse.
And I'm sure many of them are listening to this on the road to LibertyCon. Help a brother out, guys. Kev, how about you, man?
I think you just need to rickroll everybody once you get up there. I mean, just right then. Never going to give you up. Just do it. Hey, I was going to ask you, Chris, you're going to read everybody's names. What about if I have a pen name or two? I got a couple of them I'm using. I'm going to need you to read those off right after my name.
Okay.
IP Freely, okay. And Seymour Butts.
Rusty, that's Rusty Bed Springs? No, that's IP Night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. I'm going to need you to. Jeez. I can't believe you got to
give me
the list.
You give me the list and I'll say them.
Also known as?
Again, we say challenge accepted.
The short career of Chris Kennedy, MC.
He's going to be like, Kevin, this name has no vowels. That's right.
It's going to be like Anchorman. If you put it on the prompter, Burgundy's going to read it. All righty, Chris. Well, listen, thanks so much for stopping by to spend a few minutes with us and talk to us a little bit about LibertyCon and what fans can expect from MC Chris Kennedy and the rest of the weekend. Oh, one last thing I did want to ask you, man, while I got you on the hook, because I know you're a hockey guy. You married a Canadian. We're going to drop the puck on the Stanley Cup Finals. By the time this releases, it will be tonight. We're recording this on Tuesday night. So we're looking at the Tampa Bay Lightning going for 3 straight against the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado's going to host game 1 and 2. What say you? Who you taking in this?
Well, I will tell you that hockey is the number one sport in this household. Sheila isn't big on many sports, but she'll watch hockey. So I am going to break with tradition and say Tampa Bay has won enough, and I'm going to rise in solidarity with all of my writer brethren in Colorado and say, go Avs.
All right, there it is. Well, folks, if you want to know more about LibertyCon, programming schedule, all of that, et cetera, you can check the show notes. We'll have the link there for you, but it's super easy, libertycon.org. If you want to know more about Chris Kennedy, then you can find him online at chriskennedypublishing.com. He's also all over Facebook with the CKP, the Factory Floor group, the CKP, the 4HU, the Merc Guild group, and then, just Chris Kennedy on Facebook. So make sure you go find him. Chris, always a pleasure, man. Drive safe, and we'll see you in Chattanooga this weekend, bud.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you there.
And that's going to bring us down to our halftime segment where we show some more love to our presenting sponsor, that being Chris Kennedy Publishing. We say it at the top, we say it at the half, we say it because it's true, y'all. It doesn't matter what you're into. Military, sci-fi, space opera, paranormal romance, urban fantasy, they got it all at Chris Kennedy Publishing. Go to chriskennedypublishing.com, read all about it, grab yourself a free ebook when you sign up to their newsletter, and make sure you come hang out with us on Facebook, whether it's the Factory Floor group, which is, we're all in that one, or the 4HU Merc Guild group, which is exclusively for the 4HU. Just about about all of the authors for those respective properties are all in there, and we interact with you. So if you got a question about one of our stories or one of our characters, you can do it there. And that's all a service of our presenting sponsor, Chris Kennedy Publishing. That website, one more time, chriskennedypublishing.com. Rob, you teased us earlier, man. What is the story with our halftime read this evening?
Yeah, there's Lorelle the Dark this week. It's by Todd Fonnestock, and he's been a joy to work with in this Eldra's Legacy project. He's also a fantastic writer. His stuff just flows. It's action-packed. It's exciting, and you really like the characters. And this one is about a particular character. It's about Lorelle, and she is dying. She gave half her soul to save Khyven the Unkillable, and its loss is burning her up from the inside. She only has a matter of days to find Usara's abducted queen before the flames consume her. But as she searches for the mystic key to bring Ren back, she finds only failure until a dark elf arrives in Usara, claiming he possesses what she seeks. All she need do is follow him into the forbidding Great Noctum and bind herself to the dark. Fleeing Khyven and her friends, Lorelle embarks upon a reckless journey into the heart of a world rife with danger and betrayal. Will the Dark Elf actually lead her to the key? Or has Lorelle become a pawn in the secret war for Noxanon?
Boom. Well, other things happen around the world of CKP this week. We got more new releases. If you're looking more of the sci-fi variety of things, got a brand new series out from Alex Reth. And first book in that one is called Terran Foundations. So be sure you go check that out. And then for all the writerly folks of this, listeners of this podcast, we got something you're going to want. It is titled The Mercenary Guide to Story Structure, and it is by our good friend and friend of the program and best-selling author, Kevin Eikenberry. Folks, if you've seen Kevin's videos or you've attended any of his classes on story structure, this is a guy that truly knows what he is doing when it comes to this stuff. It's one of the reasons why he's a multi-time bestseller. So if you ever wanted to know some tricks of the trade from the mind of the man himself, then go check that out. And that is again called A Mercenary Guide to Story Structure. We will go ahead and put links to not only Lorelle of the Dark, but that one as well into the show notes. So all you got to do is just tap the little screen and away you go. And additional news from CKP. Good Lord. Dollar books galore, folks. We get it. Times are tight right now. You're cutting back. You're tightening the belts. You're clipping coupons, all those things to save money because gas prices are your freaking mortgage. No problem. We got some reads for you and a bunch of them at that. If you go sign up for the Chris Kennedy Publishing mailing list, you'll get lists on this every week. And this week it includes Cartwright's Cavaliers, which is book 1 in the Four Horsemen universe, Khyven the Unkillable, which is the predecessor to Lorelle of the Dark, which Rob just prefaced, Cherry Drop, which is book 1 of the Abner Fortis ISMC series, as well as about 3 or 4 other books. And they're all for 99 cents this week.
And even more, as a celebration of my wedding, I have 2 of my books for $1 going on sale on Friday through the week.
Oh.
So celebrate my wedding, buy a $1 book.
Nice. Well, go find Rob Howell on social media for links to all of that and most definitely hook it up. Again, folks, we get it. Times are tight right now, man. They really, really are. And we appreciate the fact that you guys are still willing to support us through all this, support our work. And so when we and the folks at CKP can throw you a bone, we certainly love to do that. So go to chriskennedypublishing.com, sign up for the mailing list. You'll get links to all of that, or just go Google those on Amazon and away you go. That is a limited time only thing though, folks. So this isn't lasting, but for another couple of days. When you hear this, hop on, go grab you some dollar books and enjoy. So, but that's going to take us down to bottom half of the hour, which it's time to hear from you guys, the listeners. It's called Pod Mail, and we're going to do it right now.
You've got mail.
Podmail is again brought to you by our friends at the International Association of Science Fiction and Fantasy Authors. Folks, it really doesn't matter here. If you're a reader or a writer, IASFA has something for you. Go to their website at iasfa.org. Make sure you sign up for a free account. Again, it's free. And keep tabs on what they got going on. If you're looking for free book giveaways, man, they do them every month. In the case of the month of June, we're looking at lit RPG and cyberpunk. So for folks who fancy themselves fans of that sort of stuff, go check them out. They've got a fully loaded package there for you to check out. You can read about it on the website, or again, sign up for the newsletter, man. Can't stress that enough, because then you never miss out on that sort of thing. When they drop a new release, you'll be able to check it out and go grab it and take advantage of those. For authors, you just can't beat community. Safety in numbers, as they say, and we can all help each other out. We promote each other's stuff. We pass along tips and things that we figure out on craft and book marketing and all of those things. That happens when you're part of a community. And the International Association of Science Fiction and Fantasy Authors is here to do that for you. So go check them out, iasfa.org. Make sure you sign up for an account, plug in and meet some of the folks, because we would love to meet you. So, all right, first question comes to us from Mark. In going back over sorry, Mark, just bear with me here, buddy. In going back over some of your old episodes, it's clear that you were a fan of Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix. What then are your thoughts on the recently announced sequel? I was a fan of Joker. I thought it was probably the most original film DC has put out. It definitely in years, if not ever. I went into that one a little leery of what I was going to see, and I was completely knocked off my rocker by how good, how innovative, and how original it was. The writing was awesome. The acting was top flight. It deserved every award and every recognition that it got. I think it needs to be one film. I'm happy that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix are going to be back for this, and they claim to really like their story, and so obviously I will be there to see what that's about. This was one of those films that I think needed to be a one and done. I think less is more. But that was just my thought. I will, again, give it a shot because they did such a great job with the first one. I just don't think you needed a sequel, but we'll see. Did either of you guys get a chance to check out Joker? It was everywhere for a while there.
I didn't actually see the movie because I haven't really watched movies in ages. But I have to say I liked what I did see. I mean, the character, the acting looked really strong. And honestly, I think Joker is one of the better characters because there's actually some depth to him that a lot of the superheroes don't have. Now, the interesting thing to me about this, I have to say, is that they're saying it might be a musical. And I actually think that could really work, oddly enough, because the whimsy, the chaos that is the Joker, all those things could easily lead into the occasional breaking out into a song and it not seem quite so crazy as it might in other situations. This might be our generation's version of Sweeney Todd or something like that. So I'm kind of curious about that part of it, to be honest.
Kev, how about you, man?
Well, he can sing. He can rap. I don't know if you guys knew that about him. He's a great actor, and he can do both. And, I saw something in there that was posted about Lady Gaga playing a part in there, so who knows what they're going to do with that. One thing I will say about his acting, though, is I don't know that if I saw him, say at LibertyCon, if I'd want to walk up and meet the guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I like him. I do not think I like him because when he stabbed that Dirk into Maximus and then had it bound and then fought him in the arena, I can't. You know what? I got a problem with him. I got a problem with the guy.
And it's not like Kevin doesn't hold grudges.
No, not even a little bit. All righty. Well, moving on to our next question from Stephanie. Hey, guys, I'm looking forward to catching up with the three of you guys at LibertyCon this weekend. Which panels are you most excited to be a part of? And are there any that you have circled to catch when you're not on a panel? Kevin, I'll go ahead and give you first stab at this one because Rob took lead on the last one, man. Obviously you're in Salvage and that's going to be coming up on, I think it's Saturday, is it?
Yeah, a big round table for that. So I'm interested in that one. There's one, Friday night that it came from a trailer park, which was a fun story, with Hillbilly that I wrote a story in. And then Friday night, for 3 hours straight, I'm there in Author Alley, from 7 all the way to 10.
Cool.
So, if people want to find me, they can just come right up. That's where I'll be with all of my books. So.
Cool deal, man. All right, well, fair enough. Next question comes to us from Ronnie. I read where Picard Season 3 will feature a full return of the Next Generation cast. Will that be enough to get you guys to tune in? Maybe. I'll be totally honest. I tried Picard Season 2. You guys listen to the show know I really enjoyed the first season when it started. Even though it was definitely darker, definitely grittier. I knew that going into it that was going to be the case, but it was still great to see Patrick Stewart back in that role. When you started sprinkling in Jonathan Frakes and all the cameos, it was really a blast from the past. And so I enjoyed it for that. By the time I got to the end of Season 1, I was seeing shark fins circling the water, as in jumping the shark. Was really kind of like, all right, how are we going to do this in season 2? I saw where they were bringing in Q, and so I let all the episodes drop. And then this past weekend, I finally got a chance to grab a free trial of Paramount Plus, started it, and I got through about episode 4 and just completely checked out. I was so over it. I jumped to the finale because I wanted to know how they ended the story to set up the TNG reunion in season 3, and I got out because it was just, the writing is putrid. All right. I'm sorry. I know I probably shouldn't say that, but it just is. It's just not a well-written show. And it doesn't look like Star Trek, man. From the action to the way that it's filmed, it just doesn't look like Star Trek. It looks like The Expanse, and they put the Star Trek moniker on it to try and sell passes. And I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that brand of Star Trek. That's just me. Will I watch it for the TNG cast? Maybe. They're all saying that this is a wonderful way to send that off and that they didn't feel like they got that after Star Trek Nemesis and that this kind of rights that wrong. We'll see. I mean, they're trying to sell something, so obviously they're going to tell you it's great before we see it. They told us that Rise of Skywalker was great too, right up until the time we all wasted our money on that one. So, and then they told us that it sucked. So we'll see. I will let some word get out and find out what other people that I trust think. And then I might give this one a shot only because I'm an old school TNG guy. Without that, I wouldn't give that show another time a day. And I tried Discovery. Same there. Don't think I'll try Strange New Worlds because I just don't like this brand of Star Trek. And it's all run by the same people and the same directors and the same writer's room. And I just don't like their brand of Star Trek. So that's just me. So a little bit of a rant there, but a little bit of a touchy subject because I was raised on freaking Star Trek. Kevin, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. You were an old school Trek guy. I know you and I have talked about that in the past. Have you had a chance to catch any of this brand of Star Trek? And if so, what have your thoughts been on that?
I have, I don't watch a lot of TV, but there are a few things that I will make the time and find the time, especially now that I have to put my feet up for a little while and can't write the whole time. I did like what they did with Q, more towards the end of that season. So I know you didn't stick around for all of that, but I did like that bit. But you're right. It is darker. It is more gritty. And it's just one of those things. Don't compare it to the other. You want to watch the latest version of True Grit? Fine. Don't compare it to John Wayne's, and it's a fine movie. If you compare the two, no thanks. Just one of those things.
That's a good analogy. Rob, how about you, man? Have you had a chance to check out any of the Kurtzman brand of Star Trek?
I have not. I will say that the Next Generation, the previous version, the original version, it was kind of like Applebee's for me in that I would go there, I would watch the show, I would get a reasonably good meal, I would get decent value for my stuff, for my time and money, but it wasn't going to be, I didn't go in expecting a gourmet meal. I didn't expect a top flight thing. I liked TNG. I didn't love it. And so, sure, someday I may watch these because, what the heck, I'll just binge them. But it's probably going to be years. And I have no great interest. I like some of the things that they did. I think there were some really good storylines that they could have done in the original, but they never seemed to get to the real meaty stuff, the real quality stuff. And I can't imagine it's any better now.
No, this is not that at all. It's something else entirely. But there are many blogs and fan YouTube videos that will explain the differences between old Trek and new Trek. And very big chasm there. Moving on to our next question, which comes to us from Joe. Hey guys, a buddy and I will be making the trip down to LibertyCon this weekend, and we're in need of some listening materials for our 9-hour drive. Any albums, audiobooks, or podcasts that you would recommend that we check out? Rob, I'll let you give lead on this one, man. What are your thoughts on giving my man here some listening tunes to burn up 9 hours on the road?
Well, if I was going to go tunes, I would tell him to listen to Clockwork Angels, the last album by Rush. For audiobooks, one of my favorite audiobooks to listen to is partially because it's done by Bronson Pinchot, and that's the Hard Magic series by Larry Correia. Fantastic books, first place, and Larry writes really well for audio. He actually concentrates on how it sounds.
Yeah, he really does.
So I would say that because not only is it Larry's quality writing, it's Bronson Pinchot, who's got a perfect voice for it, which may surprise you if you think about the sitcom he was in back in the 80s.
Yeah, Perfect Strangers.
So there you go. Those are my two. And if you want a podcast, well, there's this crazy one called Dudes in Hyperspace.
I think they've heard of us. So Kev, how about you, man? Any albums you want to toss out at my guy here? Any audiobooks or other podcasts besides this one that they can burn some time with?
You know, I'm a classics guy, and so anytime you put on some of the what I consider classic albums, and from front to back, I don't find any fault in it. You know, your Def Leppard's, you know what? That album in '83 was a good album, was it not?
I was never a Def Leppard guy, man. Sorry.
Pyromania was not a bad album. That was a good album in 1983.
Yes, that's a good album. But you know, Back in Black, I liked front to back. That was a good album to me. Yeah, you know, the old classics.
All right.
As far as podcasts, just turn on Dudes in Hyperspace and let it run.
There you go. That's never a bad way to go. As far as audiobooks go, I actually just finished reading Leonard from William Shatner when I was off on the cruise and I was thrown into the hole for 3 days. Just a really heartwarming book. It's narrated by William Shatner, and it tells the story of his 50-plus year friendship with Leonard Nimoy. And it is, you know, it's really just a touching piece. It opens with him just basically laying it on the line for you and saying, in a business when everybody is thick as thieves and tight as family for the 6 or 8 weeks that we're on set, and then we never talk to each other again, relationships are really hard to come by. But in this case, I got the best friend I ever had in my life from Star Trek. He was my best friend. He was a brother in every way, and I miss him to this day. And you know, he obviously goes through and chronicles all of that, from how they met on the set of Star Trek to how his casting changed what Nimoy did with the Spock character on the original series, all the way up through the 70s, and how basically early fan conventions are what kept that franchise on life support until Star Wars hit, and that kind of reinvigorated the craving for sci-fi in the entertainment marketplace, and then Star Trek came back from there. I mean, it's just really, really, really sweet read. And again, it's narrated by Shatner, so you get that and his charm and his wit and his personality. As far as other podcasts, I've really become a big fan of the guys that we had on a couple of episodes back talking about the IndyCar series and the Indy 500. I'm a motorsports guy, so the Turn 4 podcasts, those guys do a fantastic job. Again, they're heavy on IndyCar, but they will touch on Formula One and NASCAR, so you get a little bit more of that holistic approach there. And then as far as albums go, I mean, I'm with Kevin. Gotta love the classics. You can never go wrong with, you know, the Pink Floyds of the world and some Van Halens and so on and so forth. For me, let's see here. I'm trying to think if I've thought of anything, if I've heard anything new that's worth. Actually, a band called 49 Winchester. They popped up on one of my little check this artist out playlist deals, and really nice. They're out of Virginia, got a real folky sound, but with a little bit of a rock edge to them, and actually a really, really nice sound. Fortune Favors the Bold is the name of the new album. You can grab that one on Spotify, Apple Playlist, pretty much wherever music is distributed, and you'll like that. If you want that kind of a classic Southern rock type of vibe, 49 Winchester. Go check them out. But all right, that's going to take us down to the end of the hour, which means it's time to wave the white flag.
White flag.
White flag is the segment where we tell fans what's on our radar. It can be book-related stuff, can be not book-related stuff, can be wedding stuff in the case of Brother Hal. So on that, we will let Brother Hal kick us off. What are you looking forward to, man? What's coming up in the next couple of days and weeks that's got your eyebrows up?
Well, I've got, at this time of recording, I have got 4 days and 27 minutes left of freedom. So let's, we've actually that's been our running joke. We've been counting down. She's actually put an app on her phone and occasionally texts me with the amount of hours, minutes, and days that remain before the wedding. But we're excited. It's going to be a great time. I hope you watch it, but we won't be paying attention. We'll be having fun with our friends, having a great time, and we'll have some whimsy planned for the wedding and after the wedding. So yeah, I really am looking forward to it.
Awesome. Kev, how about you, man? What's on your radar coming up the next couple of days and weeks?
Well, tonight the Braves play again, and you know it's the season. Of course, I'm a Braves fan, but listen, they've won 12 in a row. That doesn't happen very often. Tonight's the 13th, so. You know, we'll see what happens. Anytime a team in baseball gets, 8, 9, 10 games in a row, it's something to watch. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, as mentioned, LibertyCon, definitely on my schedule. Also looking forward to the return of the Superstars Racing Experience. That kicks off this week. I hate the fact that it's opening in Pensacola right down the road from me at Five Flags Speedway, and I'm not going to be here to go. Oh, that breaks my heart. But I will, full disclosure, probably duck back into my hotel room in Chattanooga for a little while just to kind of catch that. Those are typically very short races, but really want to see what that looks like. I love that track, and I love the fact that guys like Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte and Haley Deegan and so on and so forth are going to be racing at that track on Saturday night, because NASCAR, for my money, should be at that track in some capacity, and they're not because they pretty much abandoned their fan base. But that's another rant for a whole nother day. Another thing I am looking forward to is the Stanley Cup Finals. And I actually mentioned this with Chris earlier. I'd be remiss if I didn't throw it out to my guys real quick. I'll let you make some picks, man. This should be an interesting matchup between Tampa Bay and Colorado. I will actually go ahead and start with you, Rob, and the wedding guy of the hour. Who you want to take in this? Are we looking at Colorado in 6 or Tampa in 5? What's your take here?
I'm going to go the Bolts in 7. I can't root for the Avs, but I do think the two teams are pretty evenly matched. Their goal differential is not too far apart. Points that they amassed over the season, not too far apart. But I want to see the three-peat in part because mostly I am rooting against the Avalanche because of the way they beat the Blues.
Oh, Kev, you're a Blues fan. You want to throw in on that?
Yeah, that was some dirty hockey on the ice. It was dirty playing. You don't slam into the dang goalie and claim it was an accident, and everybody can watch the footage and go, I don't know about that. And when you take the starting goalie out, okay, he's out for that game, he's out for the next game, you can kiss the series goodbye, because there is so much difference, I feel, in a starting goalie in the National Hockey League than compared to, the backups, and it just is.
So fair to say you're taking the Lightning.
There's no Lightning in 6.
Oh, okay.
That's what's
All
happening.
right. Lightning at 6. All right. Well, then I will be the odd man out here. I will throw in with good friend of the program, Maya Cleve, and all of our folks out in Colorado. I also just kind of always had a soft spot for the Avs. I don't know. I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan, so I really don't have any dog in this fight. But I remember in the 90s the Joe Sakic's of the world, and I remember that squad and how much fun they were to watch. So from what I understand, Colorado has definitely had a few more days off to prepare for this, rest up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Colorado in 6, and that's my pick. Well, thanks to Chris Kennedy for coming on the program and talking up a little LibertyCon preview action with us. Thanks to him also for sponsoring this program. Thanks again to our folks at the International Association of Science Fiction and Fantasy Authors for sponsoring our Podmail segment, and thanks to our friends at the Believe Podcast Network. We have not mentioned them yet tonight, so I should throw them a shout out. Folks, they've got everything: sports podcasts, pop culture podcasts, variety podcasts, politics podcasts. They are the #1 source for podcasts for professionals on the interwebs. Go to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. You can learn all about their shows and subscribe wherever you prefer. If you like this show in the meantime, be sure you leave us a review, man. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you subscribe. If it'll leave you 5 stars, we'd certainly appreciate it. Helps to bump us up in the rankings. Likewise on YouTube. YouTubers, like those videos. Subscribe to our channel. Share it, man. That's how people come and find this program. On behalf of Rob Howell, who's getting hitched, on behalf of Kevin Steverson and myself, we will see you at LibertyCon this weekend. Y'all travel safe, and we'll talk to you next time on the Dudes in Hyperspace podcast. See ya.